Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's sweetteajordan. Welcome to this episode of Trap Tuesday for Chess Meal. For those of you who are new to Chess Meal, it's a YouTube channel. They make a lot of chess-related videos about traps, positions, tactics, and all that fun stuff. If you haven't subscribed to them yet, give them a subscribe. Watch their videos. They got, as you can see right in front of me, two-part video on the Philidor positions. They got videos from Henry Lee. Those of you that have been watching, you might notice I'm not one of your usual people that make videos. Alex reached out to me and he asked me if I can make a few videos for the channel for Trap Tuesdays, and I said sure, sounds like fun. So I went on to chess.com and I found top 10 chess traps. Obviously this isn't like a straight up top 10 best, these are just 10 chess traps that they picked. Some of them are pretty beginner level-ish, and speaking of beginner level-ish, we're going to start with the Noah's Ark trap. It's a trap for black to trap the white bishop and capture it. It's pretty basic. It's got a lot of easy ways in and out of it. Less in, more out. It's easy to get out of it if you're white. Black, there's a few mistakes, and if you're not careful, can actually lead to a checkmate for white and white winning if you're not careful, so we'll get into that. Just show in general how to avoid it. It's not hard to avoid it. It's a trap to where if you fall for it once, you're never going to fall for it again. Got the board flipped. There we go. Since we'll be playing as black in this position, we're going to be looking from black's point of view. Now, before we begin, you should hit a like on that video, comment. Obviously, this is the first one of 10. If you guys like me, let Chess Meal know, and they'll be more than happy, I assume, to let me bring in and do some more videos for you guys. Should be fun. Be like, hey, sweetteajordan guy's pretty cool. Let's begin. So, Noah's Ark trap. Super basic, I'd say. It's not a trap that needs a 30-minute video to describe it. I'll try and do it in the next 5 to 8 minutes, just kind of how it's done, a few things. Obviously, starting off for white. Hide that back there. E4. Basic opening. E5 is the basic returns from the Roy Lopez opening. Roy or Rue, don't really know how it's pronounced. It's one or the other, I assume Roy. So, obviously, E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, bishop B5, and obviously, this is kind of a big deal because this bishop is the focus of this trap. Whole point of it is to get the bishop. Black responds with A6, common move to help boot that bishop out of place. Obviously, if the bishop takes C6 right now, or moves back to any square that's not A4, the trap's over. The trap relies on this bishop going to A4. 100% what it relies on. Any move that's not A4 here, the trap's over. That's why it's kind of a basic trap. It relies on somebody making a certain move or mistake. Black leads with D6. This is to kind of get ready for that big attack on the bishop and the queen that will be coming up soon. I keep looking over here for my camera. Camera's here. Pretty simple. Again, trap could fall apart right here. All you need is for the bishop to take the knight, or to move to B3, or for white to push C3. Obviously, these end it pretty easily. Or even a C4. A C4 push also denies it. But if you get lucky and white goes D4, it's a pretty standard move that people might do. If they know the trap, they might want to challenge the position for black. Not really the best. I feel like there are other options you can do, but it's what white's going with in this scenario. Which, obviously, leads to the trap starting to happen. B5 pushes up, forces the bishop to back to B3. Both people win the same amount of pieces. But what black wants, they want white to go to B3. And then this is where the trap really picks up steam. It's kind of harder to avoid as white if you're not paying attention or you're new. And even if white tries to avoid it, and they were to push a pawn or whatnot, black still has won a pawn by this point, which is very big. Knight takes, and then pawn takes, so double capture on D4. And as soon as white takes D4, if they take it, the trap's in place. It's already happened. It's not anything white can really do to stop it now. Black pushes c5 to threaten the queen, which also, as you can see, sets the trap up pretty nicely right there. Here's where things could get a little tricky if you're not careful. Obviously, white can either back up and just accept it losing the bishop, and maybe trade the bishop for 2 pawns, or then go d5 and hopefully they catch the person going too quickly. Because if you were to go too quickly in this position, you were to push pawn. Yeah, you win the bishop, but you lose your rook as black, which is a big thing you have to be careful of. And if you panic for some reason, and I don't know what move would be made here, that would lead to you not doing anything good at all and lead to this. If you were to drop your bishop here for some reason, that's game over because it's checkmate. So it's literally like one bad move in this entire scenario. But if you're black, what you want to do is you want to take your white bishop and you put it on e6. Now, e6, if the queen were to just say, screw it, now you're still up, you traded a rook and a bishop for a queen and a bishop, that's still positive for black. If white retreats, you just push, and now, like if white were to go here, boom, now you just trade a bishop for a pawn instead of 2 bishops for a pawn. And if white were to do, let's say they went here, you drop your bishop to d7 to avoid the check. You don't have to worry about him taking the rook at all. He bounces back, and now you're just in a free position to push the c4 pawn. This situation, it's still a 2 pawns for a bishop, which is really good. Your only problem for both sides, I would say, you're up a bishop, but neither side's really developed their pieces at all. I mean, black's got a little bit more playthrough. They could drop their bishop here, threaten a castle, queen has to move. And then if you're lucky, you can start developing, get in a better position, I would say. But it's still kind of like, it's still really good for black no matter what, but you just have to work on developing a bit, make sure you do the right moves, because all it takes is one mistake, because you're still down 2 pawns, which could be real big if you get to like a certain tactical position in the mid or the end game. So even though you are ahead, technically up a pawn, the way the points are scored, 2 pawns can still do a lot more damage than a bishop if you're not paying attention or the other person is just that good. So you just have to be careful of how it goes. Obviously, if you can get to a position like this, there's really not much the other person's going to be able to do against you. If they, like, now it's black's turn, obviously, so black were to castle by this point. White just put themselves in too bad a position. There's not much they can do, especially if you get here, because actually, can't really do that right there. See, that would be not paying attention. Would have lost a rook there. See? You gotta be careful. Just because you have a lead doesn't mean it's concrete. Luckily, I saw that and it's not a real game. So what do I think of this opening and this trap variation? I mean, the e4, e5 has a lot of potential. You just gotta be, if you do want to do the Noah's Ark trap, you just gotta be careful. You just gotta play it right. And you just gotta hope that your opponent makes the proper mistakes. Last thing you want to do is be so focused on the trap, thinking you're working on the bishop over here, for them to just hit you on the other side hard or hit a certain piece you weren't expecting. Is there a lot of ways out of it? Yeah, especially by this point. Like, all you have to do is not take. Like, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 7 to 8 on the pawns. 1 pawn advantage isn't as good as a bishop. And there's still a lot of stuff you can do in this scenario, like, just in general. Yeah, that's the Noah's Ark. It's pretty basic, a lot of counters. As I said at the beginning, if you get hit by it once, odds are you're never going to fall for it again. Unless you're playing speed chess. This would be a really good opening in speed chess, I feel like, for black, just because of how quick the pace is. If you get a white player that's not going to react in time, or they for some reason took a bunch of time in the first 2 moves. Yeah, it's more of a speed chess opening now I think about it. You're not going to get a lot of people in classical above, I want to say, 1200. Anybody over 1200 really shouldn't fall for this, and I would say around a 900 to 1000 rating also. Like, you should probably know by this point. It's very common. Yeah. So that's the video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to comment and hit the like button and subscribe. Just let them know that you like Sweet Tea Jordan. And let me double check. The next trap on the list would be the legal trap or legal. I don't know, apostrophe or the E. You guys know how it is. It's a queen sacrifice, which I'm excited. I took a look at this trap earlier because obviously I don't know a lot of the stuff by its fancy names. I just know, hey, if I do this, this will happen, this will happen. I really like this trap. I really would like to take a look at it. So if you guys are interested, we'll take a look at it. I'm starting to slur my words. If you guys are interested, we will take a look at it later. I will talk to y'all later. Peace.